Hello to everyone out there. I'm Poetic Heretic, and today I indeed do have a most spooky article for you. It is from Mysterious Universe, and it is called When Nightmarish Things Find Their Way into Our Dreams by Nick Redfern. I'm sure that everyone has had a dream that didn't seem quite right, a dream that didn't seem like an everyday dream. The kind of dream that came across like an absolute nightmare. And in some cases, the nightmare went on and on. In September of 2014, I received the details of such a dream from an English woman named Sandra Green. Only hours after briefly seeing a cigar-shaped UFO hovering near Stonehenge, Wiltshire, England on December 25, 1985, Sandra, who was driving home in the early hours after a late-night Christmas Eve party in the English city of Bath, had a bizarre dream. In it, three men in black warned Sandra to keep her nose out of UFOs. They were, as they usually are, cadaverous, quote unquote, slightly dead looking MIB. As for the warning, it was one of those or else type threats that the MIB are so skilled at making. The dream was so graphic it led Sandra to believe that the MIB had the ability to literally get inside her dreams, manipulate those very same dreams, and issue a bone-chilling warning, one which she has still not forgotten. Now it's time to tackle another creepy dream. It's a story that goes back to October 2014. The Hat Man is a man in black type thing that appears in shadowy form, not unlike the infamous shadow people to whom the Hat Man is almost certainly related, even if we're not sure why. That's an interesting statement right there. I have to pause this and comment on it. The Hat Man is a man in black type thing. Well, sort of. I mean, the Hat Man, I've studied this stuff for a while, and the Hat Man is just a dark silhouette. Indeed, looks almost exactly like a shadow person, except for its tall black hat. So I can understand why he would say like a man in black type thing, but the men in black are very different from the Hat Man, in my opinion. But anyway. So he says the Hat Man is a man in black type thing that appears in shadowy form, not unlike the infamous shadow people, to whom the Hat Man is almost certainly related, even if we're not sure why. On many occasions, however, the Hat Man appears in regular human form with a black beard and a black suit and wearing a long overcoat or a cloak, always black, too. I know this as I have investigated many such incidents. Most noticeable about this creepy figure is, of course, his hat. Sometimes it's a fedora, other times it's an old-style top hat. Occasionally it's more like a cowboy hat. But regardless of the kind of headgear, it's always present and always black. Many of the encounters occur while the victim is in a distinct altered state, that of sleeping. Angie had just such an encounter in Leominster, Massachusetts on September 6, 1994, as she told me late on the evening of October 8, 2014. Her reason for contacting me was due to the fact that, quite out of the blue, she had suddenly begun to dream of the events of 20 years earlier, and dream of them almost every night for the last couple of weeks. Very much like those people unfortunate enough to be confronted by the somewhat similar Slender Man, the ultimate internet meme come to life in tulpa form. Angie was sleeping when the mysterious thing disturbed her sleep by manifesting in her bedroom and staring at her with a menacing grin on its pale, ghoulish face. For a few moments, Angie was unable to move. As she finally broke the spell of paralysis, however, the Hat Man was gone. Then on February 28th, 2016, and on checking my email around 8:30 a.m., I received a story from a woman named Belinda. She had a traumatic dream 2 nights earlier. She encountered a man in black wearing shiny black gloves. In the dream, the MIB pursued her along an old railroad track, one that was seemingly never ending. Only when the MIB was within a few feet of her did Belinda wake up with an ear-piercing scream, something which Belinda's husband attested to. She had no involvement in the UFO subject or that of the paranormal. Belinda sought me out, Good friend and psychic Kim Rackley had a story to share too. Here's how it goes. Being a medium, I am not fearful of the supernatural or unearthly, but there is one thing that has filled me with terror since I was a child, and that is the MIB. I've told the story of my repetitive MIB encounters before, but it suffers repeating because I believe it is significant to the most recent encounter. From the time I was 8 and witnessed a glowing figure slightly similar to a gray walking down the hallway of my home, I have been subject to frequent MIB visits. These visits are always from the same two men, mostly in my dream state until I began realizing my abilities as a medium, and then the visits would occur in meditation or altered states of consciousness. In the summer of 2016, UFO researcher and radio show host Tracy Austin invited me and David Weatherly to be on her show. The plan was to have Tracy first interview us separately. I would be interviewed on the MIB and David on the black-eyed children. And then there would be a roundtable discussion on both phenomena, noting the undeniable links between the two. A date was soon fixed, September 22nd. Both David and I flew in on the same morning and spent the afternoon hanging out at our hotel. The high strangeness wasn't just limited to the show, however. Tracy herself had a trio of stories of her own to relate to me. They were, of course, as bizarre as they were disturbing. She told me, with me doing the show on the black-eyed kids, I was reading David's book every day before we did the show, so it was on my mind. And it only happened the one time, but I had this dream that we had a friend over and there was a knock at the door, and the friend that came over opened the door. And I saw a black-eyed kid standing at the door, one single boy. And the friend asked him to come in, and I said, no, 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 you can't let him in. But he wandered in slightly. It was a kid with a hoodie and jeans, the typical kid. And I pushed him out the door and said again, no, you can't let him in. It shook me a bit when I woke up. One of the people whose studies I focused upon was Samuel Hatfield, a psychic. In his own words, why would someone purposefully invade someone else's dream? Well, there are a number of reasons. The chief among them is to influence someone's thinking. Much of what occurs in a dream is left in the subconscious or unconscious mind. The subconscious/unconscious mind influences much of our daily lives. It governs the automatic responses and processes such as memory, motivation, instinct, and even emotional reaction. Purposeful invaders often seek to influence these things to invoke particular responses in others. They do this by entering the lucid dream or even pulling someone into their own dream and implanting thought forms to condition the subject. I could go on and on with such accounts involving black-garbed characters and who are intent on getting into our dreams. The skeptics would likely say that it's all down to bad dreams. Frankly, though, I don't think that's all it is. There's something else going on too, but I freely admit I don't know what that it is. Maybe you do. And so that is the article, dear viewers. So, very unsettling stuff indeed. What do you think? Are the so-called men in black real beings? Can they get into your dreams? Can they manipulate people's dreams? Or are these all just bad, scary, terrifying dreams and nothing more? Honestly, who knows? But I will say this, if you're terrified that you're going to have bad dreams, remember that what you think about right before you fall asleep will tend to have an influence on your dreams and on your subconscious or unconscious or whatever. So that may be of some benefit. But there are many people out there who claim to be endlessly tormented by some of these beings, especially the Hat Man, as mentioned earlier in this. And as for other beings like the Black-Eyed Kids and the Slender Man, well, you hear this talk about these things. They start out as an internet legend, but then some claim that they take on the form of a tulpa, which is essentially something that is thought about so much that it moves from a thought form into a physical manifestation that then some people can encounter. In fact, I personally talked to someone quite a few years ago now who claimed to know someone who knew someone, so take this with a grain of salt, but who nevertheless claimed, this person, to have encountered the Slender Man in such a way that, I mean, this person said that there was no way that that so and so would have made this up, and I knew the person I heard it from to be very trustworthy, and so who knows what is lurking out there in the dark. Anyway, I'm Poetic Heretic. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you next time. Sweet dreams.